Hello, friends. Today is December 11th, and our reminder about paying attention to the things that are important during the Christmas season. Our story takes place in a large Midwestern suburb. It was only 2 years ago, and it's about a woman named Julie. And Julie, one morning, she was walking her dogs early morning in her neighborhood. It was a wonderful neighborhood, a large Midwestern suburb type situation. This particular suburb, even the street, was very well known for its holiday decorations. All of the houses were decorated to the nines. People just love to decorate. And carolers and Christmas groups of various kinds, they would go up and down the street. Is very, very well known. Everybody decorated their house on the outside of the house to the nines. It was something that had really attracted Julie and her husband Dale to buy the house in the first place because they love partaking in that. It would take them a full day to decorate the house, to put up the lights, to line the driveway with candy canes, to take the outdoor tree and to wrap it all up in lights. It took a long time, but it was fun and they loved it. But Julie, as she's walking the dogs, she knew that this year was going to be very, very different. It'd been a very difficult several months. Dale was ill. He was very ill. In the prior months, he had 2 strokes and a heart attack, and along with having COVID. Now, Dale was finally home at the time when Julie started. Well, it was at this time of her walk in early November, but he was very weak, and his breathing was constantly labored. And as she's walking along, she's really trying to push out of her head the idea that this might be Dale's last Christmas. So she's walking her dogs, and she's anxious to get back because she needs to look after her husband. And she runs into some other neighbors. They're walking their dogs as well, and polite conversation ensues. And they inquire about Dale's health, and she gives them the story. She doesn't hold anything back. And the neighbors, they want to help. They're eager to help, and so they say, "Hey, maybe we could put up your lights for you." And Julie just politely declines the offer. You know, the lights, they are a huge job. All of the decor outside, it's a big deal. It's for someone who knows what they're doing, let alone somebody who hasn't done that particular house before. And so she politely declines and just kind of resigns herself to the fact that her house is going to be dark for this particular year. She was going to spend all of her time taking care of Dale, who needed a lot of care. And so even as she thought about it, though, it was kind of painful. You know, Julie usually set up a donation booth at the front of the block where people would come in just so they could see all the lights. And she raised money for a food pantry doing that. They had raised $7,500 doing that, her and some volunteers the year before. And she didn't like the idea of the food pantry being without those extra funds. But again, Dale's health just trumped it all. She had to take care of him and just basically stay there. And she knew, in fact, his health was declining. So his health meant everything. So she just resigned. The house was going to be dark this year. And so a few days later, out of the blue, she gets a call from a contractor. You know, the suspicion is that her neighbors had made some calls. But the contractor had heard about Julie and Dale's situation and asked if he could put up the lights free of charge. And Julie, she's kind of surprised and stunned, but she's thinking that would be nice. So she says, yes, you can do it. So this guy, a little bit right before Thanksgiving, basically shows up with 4 other men, and Julie shows them where the lights are stored and everything, but she can't show them too much because she's just got to go back for Dale. And the contractor's like, you know what, just let us take care of it. We got this. And so Julie's inside, and she props Dale up so that Dale can look through the window at what's going on, and this contractor and his crew of 4, they just knock it out. They get it done in 3 hours, and it looks great. You know, Dale's impressed. He says, "Wow!" And for him, every word takes a lot of effort. So it was a big deal. And now, of course, the house is going to be lit up for the Christmas season. And so good things are going on. A local news station picks up the story about how this contractor helped out this couple. And they did a story on it, and that was nice. But other people saw the report. And pretty soon, a lot of people are offering to help Julie. They come to her door. A college student who lives nearby asks, "Hey, can I take the dogs on a walk to free you up when the dogs need walking?" And so Julie got her dogs walked. Another her dog groomer said, "I saw the news report and love to pick up your dogs for the grooming, and so you don't have to deal with that anymore." And so that was very helpful. Another friend came to look after Dale 3 times a week, early mornings, about 5:15 a.m., so that Julie could get in her run. And of course, that's really good physically. It's really good for your mental health. Meals poured in from neighbors, from church family, and so they felt really well taken care of. It was a wonderful experience, a meaningful experience about these people who had been so giving to them. But perhaps the most surprising call came from the coffee house. Coffee house called and asked Julie, "Hey, could we help? We help with the food drive you normally do. We could help with volunteers and some other things." So Julie made some calls to a few of her previous volunteers to kind of maybe not head something up, but help start setting up something and maybe get something in motion. And just a few phone calls, that's all it took. And pretty soon she had 50 plus people that were going to be taking care of that booth and collecting money and canned goods and all of these things that you usually do for a food drive. And so all this happens within the span of just a few days. December 1st is kind of the unofficial opening night for her neighborhood when everybody turns on their lights. And so December 1st comes and everybody turns on the lights. And so she props Dale up so that he can see through the window. And he's watching most of this through the window. Usually they'd be out there participating and everything, but of course his health prohibited that. And so he's watching and he's like, enjoying it. And he's got tears in his eyes. Just because it's so nice to see how everybody's come together, how it's helped them, and to be able to enjoy it through the window. And many people came, of course, and waved just offered their support, offered their love, offered their prayers. And this continued throughout the Christmas season, day after day, as it normally would have any other year. But Julie noted, of course, that Dale was getting weaker by the day. But he saw, on the other hand, Dale saw that Julie was not alone, that she had friends, that she had people that were supporting her, that she knew how to make things happen. As a matter of fact, case in point, the food drive that year would end up collecting 1,500 pounds of food. And instead of making 7,500 like it did last year, it made 65,000. Christmas came and went, and Julie knew that time was very, very short. And so Julie and Dale, they said their goodbyes on December 30th, at the end of the season, and Dale passed away at 10 p.m. And Julie, just as a tribute, went out to the volunteer that was in front of their house, just making sure everything was okay. And she asked the volunteer, "Why don't you shut off the lights?" And so the lights went off a little early that night as a final tribute from Julie to her husband, Dale. And friends, just a reminder, don't forget the important things this season. Loving on people, supporting them in their difficulties. Blessings, and take care.